Phoenix, Arizona, and it is such a beautiful day. Bright sun in the sky, not a cloud to be seen. Could we just race here every week? Phoenix Raceway. For the first time in the playoff era of the NASCAR Cup Series, we're racing at a track in the spring that will decide the champion in the fall. It's Phoenix qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series on a picture-perfect day in the Arizona desert. So, this is new territory for NASCAR. It'll be our first short track qualifying. It'll be our first single car qualifying in Phoenix since they abandoned the group qualifying system in the middle of last season. And because we're on a track a mile and a quarter or smaller, they'll take 2 laps instead of just 1. So a lot of things are different about this qualifying session, Jeff.
And I think those drivers are going to like this because we got a lot less downforce, still got plenty of horsepower, a lot of horsepower, 750 at least underneath the hood. So not a lot of grip out there. You need to get heat in those tires. And with that low of downforce, it takes maybe 1 lap to get the heat and those tires up to temperature so that you can go and put a really good lap together. And I got to say, it's been unpredictable this year in qualifying. I think today is going to be another one that's unpredictable because we just don't know who all made qualifying runs yesterday that we're going to see maybe win the pole today.
And as we talked in practice yesterday, what teams might have experimental setups looking forward to the fall, what teams are set up to win the race, and who's ready to win the pole. All those questions to be answered next. How'd you like a fast $40,000? Thought I'd get your attention. All you have to do before tomorrow's race is download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play Super 6 NASCAR for free. The $10,000 top prize rolls over when nobody hits it, and in 3 races, nobody has. You could win $40,000. Sign up today. Make your picks. Let's get down to the qualifying line and Regan Smith.
Well, Christopher Bell getting ready to strap into his race car here. Come to a racetrack you got some familiarity with. You won an Xfinity race here. How similar is this Cup car going to be to what those Xfinity cars were last year?
Yeah, this has been a wonderful change of pace from what we've done in the last couple of weeks. This feels right at home. Honestly, I was really surprised whenever I got out there. It reminded me exactly of what I felt the last couple of times I've been here.
All right, good luck. Matt?
Well, Regan, so many different variables here at Phoenix this year. You were 5th fastest at practice. What have you learned so far about all the different things we've had new here?
Yeah, I think just kind of going back to the 18, 17 mindset of these race cars has been very helpful. This has been a track for me over the years that I've been successful. We've been able to find a good combination, and it seems to work package to package. Also, I think the less downforce we have on the cars, it helps drivers who know how to manage the tires, know how to manage fatigue in the race car with the race car and the tires as well. So that definitely fits my style. We seem to succeed at places like Darlington, Atlanta. Any place that the fall off in the race car is great. We usually run well, and we have a bit of a formula that we know works, and we're able to get to that pretty quick yesterday in practice. So I think our Geico Camaro is going to be good, and looking forward to a strong day on Sunday.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Brennan. Poole is our first qualifier, 27:05, the first of 2 laps. You get 2 laps on tracks a mile and a quarter and under.
I really liked what I heard out of Ty Dillon right there. Manage the tires, manage, the fall off and the brakes, and there's just so many more factors. Now, when you take all this downforce off these cars, now the driver comes into play so much more in how they manage this race. It's going to be fun tomorrow. And first, they've got to manage these 2 laps, getting temperature in the tires, putting down a good lap, not overdriving the corner.
So as Joey Gase makes his run, the way the qualifying order is now determined, the last 20 qualifiers are the fastest 20 qualifiers from last week, and then a random draw among those 20. So we have 38 cars here. So the first 18 qualifiers are the slower 18 out of last week's qualifying, again subject to a random draw.
Masterful job explaining that one, Mike.
It's a process.
And something you'll see as Joey Gase is completing his 2nd lap. You'll see this darker area, and they've put some traction compound a little bit lower in turns 3 and 4. As you see Eric Jones starting his lap. I don't think we're going to see them get up into that area and try to look for some extra grip in qualifying, but we definitely saw some cars searching up there in the race on those longer runs.
So Eric Jones in his Joe Gibbs Toyota, faster than Brennan Poole, as represented by our Ghost car, coming up out of turn 4.
And I would expect this is going to be a pretty good lap for Eric Jones, not just because of the Ghost car, but also Joe Gibbs Racing was very strong at this race a year ago, and both races at Phoenix last year. So I expect them to be really strong here today and tomorrow.
Have we decided whether the first lap or the second lap is likely to be quicker?
Well, I think it just depends on how you want to go about it, how you want to set up your air pressures, and whether or not you want to get the temperature in the tires right away through 3 and 4, and as you come to take the green flag on the first lap. But as you saw right there, he was faster. Eric Jones was faster on lap 1.
26-25. Regan.
Well, a number of guys talking about how quick Kevin Harvick's car has been this weekend so far. Kevin, is the car as good as it looks on the timing sheet?
It doesn't feel that way, but our Jimmy John's Ford has, had good lap times, and I think it's going to be one of those situations where you just got to make it drive better than everybody else's car because they all don't feel great. So it's definitely going to be interesting because you're going to have options from that PJ1 standpoint to move up the racetrack, and then what's the balance going to do when you go up there. So our guys have done a great job. We didn't do any qualifying stuff yesterday because we needed to keep working on our race stuff, so we'll see how this goes.
All right, good luck, Kevin.
William Byron in his Hendrick Chevrolet, 26:40 on the first lap. And he was right in the trunk of our Ghost car there.
Yes,
in turns 3 and 4.
Solid lap for William Byron. Not going to be winning the pole with that lap today, but he did win practice yesterday, so I did expect him to maybe go to the top of the charts. Again, shows you how good of a lap Eric Jones has put down so far.
Byron's first lap was within a couple of thousandths of Jones' second lap, but it was Eric Jones' first lap that right now is the time to beat, as Maryland's Timmy Hill comes out for his qualifying run. Hill was 35th in final practice. 27:58 is lap 1.
See Timmy drifting up there a little bit more than you want to see. You really want to hug that yellow line, make the shortest lap around here possible. We've talked about this, though. Look how little that spoiler is on that rear deck lid, and you see a wiggle for Timmy Hill. You're going to see a lot of that in the race tomorrow, but even when you're pushing hard on newer tires on a qualifying lap, you'll see it.
First lap is the faster of the two for Timmy Hill. Matt?
Eric Jones back in the fan zone here, signing for fans. Wins here in trucks and Xfinity. I know you'd love to add a cup, but where do you feel like you are at this juncture of the weekend with this package?
It's hard to tell. I think our short run speed was pretty good, and our long run was struggling a little bit probably after lap 12 to 15. But the Interstate Batteries car is good. I think we're better than the last 2 weeks, so that's a positive upswing as far as practice. But we'll kind of have to see where it goes. I mean, I don't know where that's going to put us for qualifying. I had a hard time telling how good of a lap that was or not. It felt a little sloppy in the car, but feel good about it. Excited for the race tomorrow. A little hot and slick and low downforce will be fun.
John Hunter Nemechek, number 2 in the rookie standings this year. He was 27th in practice, 26:56 the first lap. Third on the board. 26:54.
And you heard Eric Jones talk about sloppy. When you have this little downforce, and this track has different configurations in turns 1 versus turns 3, different transitions, it is not easy to put down a perfect lap here. So you're going to have mistakes that you made. It's just which ones are worse than others.
Daniel Suarez will be our next qualifier. He was 31st in the combined practices yesterday in his Toyota for Gaunt Brothers Racing.
I saw the last time entering turn 1 for Daniel Suarez, he really drifted up the track, see if the heat and the grips back in the tires the way he wants it. A little bit better this time, was able to use that apron and hold that yellow line a little bit better through turns 1 and 2.
He was able to hold the bottom pretty well in turn 3 and sweeps out to the start-finish line, but the first lap is faster by about a tenth. Regan?
Well, some pretty big contract news from Ryan Blaney this week. Sign a new deal with Penske, going to be here for the foreseeable future. How much of a weight off your shoulders is that?
It's nice to finally get out there. You know, it's been something we've been working on for a while, and it's been so much fun to be able to work with Mr. Penske and Ford and everybody for many years. It doesn't seem like, you know, I signed with those guys for their Xfinity car and Brad's trucks in 2012. Time flies really fast, but it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, great to finally sign that deal, and really excited to, you know, keep going with Penske, with Ford, hopefully for a long time to come. So nice to be out here in Phoenix with Menards and Tarkett we got on the car today, and should be a good weekend. But yeah, definitely nice to finally tell everybody about the contract deal instead of kind of keeping it under wraps.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
Good news for Ryan Blaney. Here is Corey LaJoie, who got up and into the wall in turn 1 in practice yesterday because a car coming off pit road took away his line, had to take a higher entry and got up in the dust and dirt up there. First lap is quicker for LaJoie at 26.66.
Yeah, nice recovery. I mean, that cost him a lot of time in practice to work on this car to be able to put a qualifying effort together here. So I'm sure he should be pretty happy with that lap.
You heard from Christopher Bell earlier. He was 18th in practice yesterday in his Levine Toyota.
And this is a track that Christopher Bell really likes. You heard him in that interview earlier. Does a nice job hooking that yellow line, even get below it. Going to put a good lap together here for Christopher, second. And that's on lap 1. What can he do on lap 2?
26.29, just 4 100ths off the top spot, but you see the green light in the lower right of your screen, and there he is versus the ghost car, which is
great.
Eric
1 and
Jones.
2. Great 1 and 2. If he can just not overdrive this entry, keep it down on the bottom. You see, drifted up a little bit off of turn 4. Boy, he's probably going to beat himself up a little bit after watching our ghost car.
It cost him 2 100ths of a second, that little bobble entering turn 3, but that was enough to deny him the top spot for now. Eric Jones, fastest so far. Welcome back to Phoenix, where Eric Jones, Christopher Bell, William Byron are quickest so far. Quinn Houff is the next driver on track. He was 34th in yesterday's practice. Now you notice nobody is cutting the dog leg there. As we often see during races here in Phoenix, the short way to turn 1 would be to cut that dog leg. Why not?
Well, it's a good question. Jamie McMurray and I were talking during the commercial break. Why not? Because it does cut a lot of the racetrack off, so you would think you'd make a faster lap that way. But I don't know, Jamie, is it just because they're not wanting to hit the track too hard?
Well, I think the big thing is, you know, this is in the race, and if you can make the pass, if you know, you're going for the win, it's one thing. In qualifying, it's so disruptive, and it can knock that splitter up, and these teams work all of practice to get that splitter perfectly sealed off, and you don't want it to touch the ground here, especially you see them lock up that left front tire. And I just don't think they're willing to take the chance in qualifying, because look, it's a small advantage. It's not a 1/10 of a second, right? It's just a little bit of a little piece to the lap time.
Yeah, good point.
27.21. Second lap is quicker for Quinn Houff. That's Ryan Newman poking his head in the window to say hi to Martin Truex.
Good buddies here. Good fishing buddies right there. Ryan Newman, Martin Truex Jr.
Good to have Ryan at the racetrack. He has not been doing interviews. Hope we get a piece with him for tomorrow's pre-race.
It's just, I think he said it himself, absolute miracle to have him at the racetrack already after that vicious looking crash there in Daytona.
Garrett Smithley in the 51 was 36th of 38 in final practice yesterday. .47.46 on the first lap to a 27.62 on the second. Larry Mack?
Yeah, we didn't
see a lot of speed out of this 19 car yesterday of Martin Truex Jr., but the woes for Joe Gibbs Racing continue. They had to change the engine in this 19 car last night, had a bad oil leak that they could not rectify, so he'll go to the rear of the field. And if you look at these first 3 races and then add this one in, 6 times for various reasons, a Joe Gibbs driver was at the tail end of the field when the green flag waved.
26-27, he is 2/100ths off the top spot.
Yeah, and I think he can clean up turns 1 and 2. You saw him drift pretty high the time through there before. I didn't think he was going to be as close to Eric Jones as he was. Now, right on top of the lap that Eric Jones put down. What can he do here in the middle? Eric got off of turn 4 so well, and you see that's exactly where Truex is lacking a little bit of speed also.
And Martin's time fell off 3/100ths to lap 2. So he sits second to his teammate. Next up, Ross Chastain. You just saw Ryan Newman, whose recovery continues. He did tell folks yesterday no timetable set for his return to the race car. But during practice, he was in the number 6 garage handing notes to Ross about different things and very, very much involved seeing how his car goes around the racetrack here.
A lot of knowledge, a lot of experience with Ryan Newman. That's going to be very helpful if you're a guy like Ross Chastain.
Ross was 17th in practice. 26:57, 6th right now. There's Ryan. Second lap is quicker. He moves up to 5th with a 26:52. Ty Dillon has just clocked in 6th at 26:52. Reed Sorensen 12th of 15 in the 77, and trouble here for Austin Dillon.
Yeah, he went into turn 3. He's just getting the tires up to temperature, and he locked up a front tire getting into turn 3. Yeah, you see that? He locked the left front tire up.
Now, he did not come to the start-finish line, Larry, to start his run.
As long as he has not started his second lap, what he's doing is perfectly legal. You can do this before taking the green flag. You could even do this before taking the white flag to complete your first lap, starting your second lap. Now, it's not going to be a very good time here, but he's just trying to get back and regroup and get that run back to start his lap.
I've rarely seen this work in the favor of finding more speed. With a 2-lap qualifying run, I think I would have stayed with it, just cleaned off my tires on that next lap, get myself ready to come to the green for lap 2 and put down as good a lap as I can.
Dillon was 24th in practice. Now, as he gets going, Jamie Mack, you have the analytics there. Give us the difference between Eric Jones and Martin Truex's approach to and run off the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Martin actually backed his corner up a little bit, which typically is good, but he just was not able to get back to the gas. Jeff and I were talking about this. He seems like his car was a little bit tight. His steering trace looked really smooth compared to some of the others, and he did everything that we would expect him to do. Just the car just didn't turn quite as good as Eric's did. I got to tell you, as I'm watching Austin Dillon, Jeff, I can't imagine that thing's not shaking. He slid that tire a long ways.
You're right. He's got to have a flat spot on that left front.
Since he had not taken the green flag, he could have come back down pit road, and at least they could have looked at everything, because, again, he had not even started lap 1, so that might have been the better option right there.
Yeah, to me, the biggest challenge with that is you've taped up and you've got it optimized to run the right water temperature for those 2 laps. When you heat that engine up and cycle it back around and take all that extra time, the water temp really gets sky high.
Dillon top 10 for now. He is 9th fastest.
I think their biggest challenge might be the fact that they've got to start on that set of tires, so we'll see what happens with that. Matt?
And down here in the fan zone, Truex signing for... I've seen you sign just about everything, but I just saw you sign what is that, a My Little Pony?
A pink pony? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little girl, so.
How about that lap?
Yeah, it was pretty good. You know, I really didn't know what to expect. We didn't do a mock run yesterday, and we kind of struggled a bit with our cars. So made a lot of changes overnight, and, you know, it's really that was all just for pit stall. So it was about 95%. But, yeah, we'll see what we can do. You know, hopefully we made the right changes for the race tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of cars to pass again.
All right, thanks, Martin.
Yeah, with the engine change, they will have to start in the rear. J.J. Yaley has won a bunch of races here at Phoenix, but they were in USAC open wheel cars. Here he is in the Cup Series in the 52, 27-16, 12th on his first lap.
And I can tell you, a guy who's run open wheel cars a long time ago, yes, Mike, and then switched over to a stock car, completely different racetrack. I was like, what happened to the racetrack guy I was driving with that open wheel car?
Yaley's first lap was quickest. Denny Hamlin's Joe Gibbs Toyota fall winner here at Phoenix.
Oh, dominant fall performance by Denny Hamlin. Loves these types of racetracks. You heard Jamie McMurray talk about backing up the entry of the corner. Denny does an amazing job with that and getting back to the throttle really early. See if he can do that here.
Yeah, Denny wore everybody out here last fall, but in practice yesterday he was only 21st. Never mind, he's top of the chart.
Well, Joe Gibbs Racing wanting to make a statement. Hasn't been the start to the season that they really have been looking for. It has been bad, but you know, it just hasn't been what we've seen out of them. And Denny Hamlin even picking it up further on lap 2, putting a really strong lap together.
26-22, he takes the pole by 3/100ths over Eric Jones with Martin Truex third. So right now that's a top 3 sweep.
Another 10th.
Hamlin, Jones, and Truex, the top 3, but many cars left to go. Jimmy Johnson, Clint Boyer talk it over as we move into the top 20 qualifiers from last week in random order. Chris Buescher will be the first of those in his Ford. Today is March 7th. That is apropos of nothing, except that in 2014, Joey Logano won a pole on March 7th, and in 2007, Jeff Gordon did.
Gosh, that seems like so long ago, Mike, but I'll take it. You throw me into the stats, I'm in.
Buescher 26.78 on his first lap. Here's Regan.
Well, Jimmy Johnson just ending a conversation with Clint Boyer. Looked like you guys were having just a little bit of fun there. Great start to the year for you so far. How's the weekend been going here in Phoenix?
Yeah, great start for this Ally Chevy. Yesterday was a little challenging for us. After our debrief, we saw some areas where we were different with our teammates and have made those adjustments, and certainly hoping to find some more speed in the car for qualifying, because track position is so important here and carry that into the race.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Here's one of the first cars we've seen cut that dog leg on the front straightaway. Kevin Harvick in the green going into turn 1. He also tried to use the traction compound up high. It's going to give him a big run into turn 3.
He was one of 3 or 4 drivers that tested the waters up there in the black in turns 3 and 4. Late in practice, Brad Keselowski was another, and of course, Kyle Larson.
And he goes to the top. Now, can he make some further adjustments and even better that lap? But boy, I didn't know if anybody was going to beat the lap that Denny Hamlin put down, and Kevin Harvick has shown up in Phoenix.
And he's riding a wave, Jeff. He's the only driver with 3 top 10s, top 10 finishes this season.
Well, they've been quiet top 10s. He's not going to be quiet this weekend in Phoenix.
First lap.
First lap was the fastest. 0.07 of a second is what the difference was between he and Denny Hamlin.
Matt?
Austin Dillon just bumped out of the top 10. So if your wife Whitney called to ask how your qualifying day went, what would you tell her?
Not very good. You know, we went into turn 3 coming to the green, and it locked up the left front. Trying to drove to the same point I had yesterday, and I don't know if the brakes just cold or what. Got a little too aggressive there and locked up left front. So I drove all the way back around to try and get a lap, but I don't know if we got like a flat spot of the tire or what. I had a vibration the rest of the last 2 laps. So unfortunate. Our car's not bad. We just a little miscue coming to the green, and it killed our qualifying effort.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Now, to clarify, he does not have to start the race on that flat-spotted tire, but it is part of his tire allotment for the race. Thanks, Larry, for clearing that up for us. Matt DiBenedetto for the Wood Brothers, 3rd on his first lap.
Very good lap for Matt DiBenedetto. I think he's going to be very happy. We've already seen where Kevin Harvick and a Ford put down a nice lap, and now Matt follows that up. Hey, Joey Logano's still got a shot here on
March 7th.
March 7th.
That's right. And here he is. So now in the Fast Five, 2 Fords and 3 Toyotas, with Byron the fastest Chevy in 7th.
And Joey goes into the green through the center. He got through the center really good, but remember, Kevin Harvick ran that high lane and got a big run down the back straightaway. You can see what an advantage that was for Kevin Harvick.
Sixth for Logano on lap 1. He needs to find 17 100ths to take the pole away from Harvick.
And you can see the back just stepping out ever so slightly through the center of the corner for Joey Logano. That's going to cost him down the straightaway.
And losing a little time as he comes around.
Can't wait to see if somebody else now has watched what Kevin Harvick did. Will they venture up into that traction compound turns 1 and 2, or maybe even in turns 3 and 4?
Do I get a guess?
Oh, how about
Kyle
the
Larson?
2
or the 42?
Yeah,
yes. Regan.
Well, Clint Boyer down here, you noticed that your teammate Kevin Harvick had a really fast lap. I see you watching the driver data on the computer right there. What are you learning?
Well, just looking where he was running. Actually, we saw that he went down low. He did that last year and picked up some speed. Did it again right there. But the biggest thing is just trying to determine if it's going to be the first lap or second lap. That is a big role. You know, when you talk about air pressures and things like that, you need to adjust for that. That being said, it looks like the first lap's it, so probably pump the pressures up a little bit, make sure that we're ready for that first lap, make sure the driver's ready for that first lap, right? Because that's what's important.
Good luck, Clint.
Kyle Larson third on lap 1, 26-16.
Well, we know Kyle Larson likes to search around the racetrack. I think he learned a little bit of something that first lap. Can he pick it up here through 3 and 4? Really close to Kevin Harvick on lap 1. Can't quite get to the throttle soon enough through 3 and 4.
Kevin Harvick is fastest so far. And here's a look at that lap.
Boy, he really short. He didn't care about the splitter or those skirts at all. I mean, there was a lot of risk taken on this entire lap for Kevin Harvick. He goes down into turn 1, then drifts high. Also, something that nobody had done up until that point.
Ryan Preece for JTG Doherty, 10th on his first lap. Preece was 22nd in practice.
I think Ryan Preece would really welcome this challenge. He likes a lot of short tracks. You know, grew up racing modifieds. I think a track like this would kind of make him feel like he's at home.
10th right now at a 26:44. The first lap was faster. Michael McDowell at his home track. He's from Glendale. He and his wife both grew up in Glendale, Arizona, within sight of the racetrack from where we sit.
Where turns 1 and 2 are really the critical corner. A little more banking in turns 3 and 4, so you seem to be able to get away with a few more things down there, but 1 and 2 is so sweeping that if you don't hook that yellow line around the bottom like you see Michael McDowell doing here and get off of it too early, you lose speed down the back straightaway, or maybe you dime in the corner like we saw Kevin Harvick do.
So McDowell on the first lap gave up some speed coming off turn 2, so this lap he cut the dog leg and cut it like Kevin Harvick did. However, it's not faster on the stopwatch. I heard Ryan Blaney was in the barn last night.
Oh yeah, he knows how to have a good time, where to find it.
How was the grand opening?
It was fantastic. I mean, I'm just so impressed with Phoenix Raceway, and the fans know how to have a good time here. It was a great night. Thank you. Great run here. Ryan Blaney going into turn 3.
Right down on the line.
I like how he's backing up that entry, getting a good run off the corner.
4th at 26:19.
All right, now you've got lap 1 in. You know what the grip level is. Adjust. Try to find the areas that maybe you didn't do it as well. as you wanted to on that first lap. Try to adjust and do it better this second lap. A little wiggle right there. He couldn't quite pull the steering wheel down to get the left front to the yellow line.
And that second lap is a bit slower, but now 3 Fords, 1 Toyota, and 1 Chevy in the Fast 5. Tyler Reddick. We've been really entertained watching him practice here at Phoenix. Another fellow where you'd say, you know, this is his kind of racetrack.
Absolutely. And after watching, you know, another fellow dirt racer, Kyle Larson, step up into that traction compound, will Tyler Reddick venture up there?
Had some really fast laps in practice yesterday, was top of the board for a while, ended up 16th in practice.
And, you know, if you're asking, well, why not just go up there if there's so much more grip? Why not go up to a big slide by Tyler Reddick into turn 1? Well, it's just a longer way around. So there's only a little bit more grip up there, not a lot. So the shorter route usually is going to be the better route. Tough second lap there for Reddick.
Yeah, first lap 18th. At 26.69, and that will be the fast lap. Cole Custer also had some fun in practice yesterday. He ended up 15th and was the fastest rookie in yesterday's 2 practice sessions.
Well, and his teammate right now, Kevin Harvick, is our current pole sitter, so some good information from that run that Kevin Harvick made. His drivers had to try to communicate as much as they can when their teammate goes, try to learn a little bit.
He's 11th on lap 1.
Putting together a nice lap here on lap 2. Got through the center really good, just lost a little bit off of turn 2.
And the second lap is quicker, moves him up to 10th at 26.33. Qualifying continues. Kevin Harvick still on pole with Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Matt DiBenedetto. Here is Kurt Busch with a big cut of the dog leg between the start-finish line and turn 1.
Teammate to Kyle Larson, so see if he can't duplicate or one-up his teammate. Well, we've seen it a lot, Mike, where they go green through the center of turns 1 and 2, but nobody's been able to maintain the speed off the corner down that back straightaway like Kevin Harvick has.
It's coming down here, though. You got a 26.19, 5th fastest on lap 1.
You see, he got off of turn 4 and actually carried more speed than anybody so far into turn 1. Little slide with the back end off of turn 2, though. You see, as soon as that happens, as soon as that slide happens, the back steps out. Immediately, you start to add time. Ooh, boy, he had his hands full on that last lap.
That first lap was only 8/100ths off pole. But Kurt Busch, 5th for now in his Ganassi Chevrolet. Eric Almirola, 4th on the speed chart in practice yesterday.
Boy, did you see how much Eric Almirola cut that dogleg off and really didn't even allow him to open up his entry into turn 1 because he knew he was going to go up in that high line. Really nice run into turn 3. Oh, yeah. Ooh, right through the center. Could not complete the throttle off the exit.
5th for now, 26.19. Tied with Blaney.
You see, he tried something on the first lap. Now he's doing something completely different by running right around the bottom through 1 and 2.
And he was in the green coming out of 2.
I really think if you're going to beat Kevin Harvick, you're going to win the pole today. I do think you're going to have to use that higher groove in turns 1 and 2 and get a long straight shot down the back straightaway.
Second lap a little slower for Almirola. So now 3 Fords in the top 5, 1 Toyota, 1 Chevy. As Chase Elliott rolls out, he was fastest in final practice, 2nd overall yesterday.
You see right there, Chase Elliott carries a lot of speed into turn 1, goes up high. Did not quite get the car to turn and get down the back straightaway like we've seen some others.
gaining on it into turn 3.
This car looks really good through 3 and 4.
And his fourth, 26-16, just 5/1,000ths off Larson.
See if he can make an adjustment. Now he knows what the grip level is like up there. Yeah, nice job recovering there.
Green light.
He's in the red here, but he was so good through 3 and 4. Let's see what he can do this time. He drifts up high a little bit.
Back in the green. Can he hold it to the line?
I think so.
Yes, Chase Elliott to the top, 26.06.
Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job.
5/100ths faster than Kevin Harvick.
That's just a great job of analyzing that first lap, making those adjustments, and just running into the corner into that traction compound a little bit harder and getting a great run off turn 2 down the back straightaway.
Kyle Busch was the fastest Toyota in practice yesterday, 3rd overall. Well, Larry, we're going to have a horse race. Chevy, Ford, Toyota at the top right now.
That's what it looks like. I'm going to go do the Xfinity Series pre-race. You and Jeff can't play. I'm going to go do my Super 6 pick selection, and it'll be show me the money.
Hey, Russell, show me the rules. I want to recount here.
Well, Kyle Busch was trying to make me a liar there, running around the bottom. I didn't think you could get the pole today by doing that, but he did lose some speed off of turn 2. Is going to end up 9th.
26.23, the first lap, the fastest for Kyle Busch. And here is Jimmy Johnson. Fox visor cam. Jimmy was 20th in practice.
Great view out the visor cam of how Jimmy's hands are going to work through this lap. You can see as soon as he goes to the throttle, he's got to correct the steering wheel to catch that little bit of looseness. Didn't have a great first lap. Didn't feel like Jimmy carried enough speed to get all the way to the traction compound. Now he's going to try to run around the bottom. Boy, big loose moment coming off of turn 2. He's going to back up the entry into 3. And the car just looks pretty loose on throttle.
And Jimmy finishes up 17th. The second lap was a little bit quicker. His teammate Chase Elliott fastest so far. And Clint Boyer cut the dog leg on the way to turn 1. By the way, he and Joey Logano will join Adam Alexander for the call of today's Xfinity race.
It's just a real fine line of how you enter turn 1 and get those tires up into that traction compound, carry the momentum through the center, but get the run off the corner. We saw Clint Boyer attempt it that first time. Let's see if he can adjust here on lap 2. He's actually going to go back, try to go back down to the bottom.
Picking up a little here.
Ooh, almost got the wall off of turn 4.
And Boyer ends up 16th. The first lap was faster by 4/100ths. Brad Keselowski is known as a contrary. His Penske Ford may go places. Look at him way up there in the black. Places where no one has gone before.
Well, and I think Kevin Harvick just opened this whole can of worms up for these other drivers to explore up there. Is there something different that Brad Keselowski could do to try to exploit that even further? We saw where he only put the right sides on the edge of it, not all 4 tires up into that traction compound. 13th on lap 1.
In the green now.
You can see he's trying to slow the car down a little bit earlier, get it rotated sooner, and get make a long straightaway out of the back straightaway.
.13th, with the first lap being the fast one for Brad. He's right on top of Joey Logano, his teammates' time. They are 12th and 13th. Ricky Stenhouse How low can you go in that dog leg?
There was no doubt in my mind, Mike, that he's going to not only cut the dog leg, but carry a lot of speed into that traction compound in turns 1 and 2, and he did.
Stenhouse was 12th in yesterday's combined practice.
So he got the left front tire up on that apron. It's harder to do that in turns 3 and 4. Really can upset the car.
And he is right behind teammate Ryan Preece on the board, 20th at 26.49.
See what he learned. I think he carried a little too much speed and used up too much of that top groove the first time through there. You can see how he gets wide off of that yellow line very quickly in 3 and 4.
Well, he jumped up 2 spots, and now he's just ahead of his teammate, 26.44. Two left, including Alex Bowman, last week's winner. Boy, what a spring in his step here in Phoenix, which is his home race. Bowman from Tucson.
Well, Bowman carried the right sides in that traction compound all the way to the exit of turn 2, but right now tracking pretty far off. Now, can he adjust on lap 2? And I think some of the air pressure adjustments have a lot to do with whether you're going to go on your second lap, go a little bit faster on your second lap also.
The car had speed yesterday. He was 5th in practice.
This is a good run. He's closing up a lot into turn 3.
Yeah, this should move him up into the top 10. And does. 8th for Bowman, 26.21 on his second lap. Only 3 drivers in the top 10 had a faster second lap: Elliott, Hamlin, and Bowman. Bubba Wallace playing drums for you last night in the barn, huh?
I'm telling you, that guy is so talented on the drums and talented behind the wheel. You saw him dive down through that dog leg and slam sparks flying that first lap.
Bubba could only manage 28th in yesterday's practice. He's tracking right on top of that now.
How much more speed he carried into turn 1 by cutting off that dog leg. You know, just makes a shorter lap out of it.
Looked here like he has a chance to pick up 7 or 8 spots. Sliding back a bit.
It just seems like the pressures and the temperatures in those tires start to give up as you get to 3 and 4 in the second lap.
So Wallace will be 27th. His first lap was the fastest. And Chase Elliott takes the number 9 to the pole. We'll wrap things up after this. Raise the flag in Phoenix for Chase Elliott with his 9th career pole and first of the season. He is the 8th Hendrick driver to win a pole at Phoenix. Kevin Harvick with his 4th Phoenix front row start. Let's hear from the pole sitter with Matt.
Mike, 3 out of the last 4 races here at Phoenix. Chase Elliott on the front row. The pole today, different packages. Were the lines similar or different?
The line through 1 and 2 is a lot different. Kevin kind of made the top work, and then I think after that everyone saw that, you know, and moved up. So great to get a pole. A little different colors this week with UniFirst on our Camaro. So excited to grab them a pole. It's always a good thing when you can put down a fast lap. Hopefully, I just hope tomorrow goes good. That's always the challenge. So we'll see, and yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Chase.
Yeah.
That'll put Chase in the Busch Clash of 21. It was announced this week that race will be run on Daytona's road course. So here's your starting lineup for tomorrow in Phoenix. Chevy, Ford, Toyota represented in the first 3 spots.
Yeah, it looked like Toyotas were going to dominate this qualifying session early on, and then the Fords and Chevys came in there and mixed it up a good bit. So a lot of parity at the top.
Martin Truex will move to the back due to an engine change. And here's the rest of your field. A lot of those rookies starting in close proximity. Been quite a rookie battle in these first 3 races so far, and of course that'll continue. 38 car field here in Phoenix. Today on FS1, NASCAR race day next, and then the Xfinity race with Joey Logano and Clint Boyer in the booth with Adam. Chase Elliott, pole winner in Phoenix. Xfinity race day starts now.